And the war with Iran enters its second week as President Trump pays his respects to the U.S. service members killed in the military operation. Good evening. I'm Devlin. Thank you for joining us here tonight. We begin tonight with breaking news on the war with Iran. We've just learned that an NYPD officer deployed in Kuwait for Operation Epic Fury has died. The NYPD says Officer Sorflight Davies died yesterday as a result of a medical episode. He served in the 42nd Infantry Division in the U.S. National Guard and rose to the rank of major. Davies joined the NYPD in 2014. Now, Governor Hochul issued a statement tonight, writing in part, his life is a powerful reminder of the extraordinary sacrifices made by our National Guard members who balance their roles as citizens, first responders, and soldiers. As we enter the second week of this war, indications show the U.S. military is preparing for a longer fight, and President Trump says the end goal is unconditional surrender from Iran. With Saturday comes new strikes in the Middle East. New U.S. and Israeli missiles and bombs rocking Tehran overnight. And into the day, this newly declassified video from CENTCOM shows more strikes against Iranian targets as President Trump vows to up military intensity in the region. Today, Iran will be hit very hard, Trump said on Truth Social early Saturday morning, under serious consideration for complete destruction and certain death because of Iran's bad behavior or areas and groups of people that were not considered for targeting up until this moment in time.
We're doing very well in Iran.
The president also spoke on the war at the Shield of the Americas summit in Doral, Florida.
We knocked out their Air Force. We knocked out their communications, and all telecommunications is gone. And they're bad people. They're just bad people.
The IDF continuing their own barrage, announcing the successful destruction of a number of Iranian fuel storage facilities that were used to power military vehicles. And into the afternoon, the president and vice president both attending the dignified transfer of the 6 U.S. service members who were killed in an Iranian drone strike in Kuwait. Iran continuing its own retaliatory strikes toward U.S. and Israeli targets, but apologizing to its neighboring countries for past strikes in the region, with the Iranian president saying it will only attack them if Iran is attacked first.
We've decimated their whole evil empire.
Into the evening Saturday aboard Air Force One, Trump continued to tout the success of the conflict so far and said boots on the ground in the region is not entirely out of the question.
Could there be? Possibly, for very good reason. Have to be very good reason. And I would say if we ever did that, they would be so decimated that they wouldn't be able to fight at the ground level.
Now, while also aboard Air Force One, President Trump also addressed the bombing of an Iranian girls' school on the first night of the attacks, killing over 100 children. Now, sources tell CBS News that the U.S. is investigating the incident, and there is a chance the U.S. is responsible. Today, the president said Iran is likely the culprit, since the U.S. was not active in the area at the time of the strike. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth says this investigation is ongoing. Meanwhile, dozens of people gathered in Union Square to protest the war in Iran. It was part of a day of nationwide protest organized by the Answer Coalition, which stands for Act Now to Stop War and End Racism. And the fighting in the Middle East is disrupting one of the world's most important shipping routes, causing oil prices to surge. And economists warn this could mean higher prices not just for gas, but also for food and even shipping. Elijah Westbrook has more.
Tonight, the impact of a war thousands of miles away is showing up here in our area, since about 20% of the world's oil and gas moves through the Strait of Hormuz. Analysts predict that if fighting continues, crude oil could top $100 a barrel in coming weeks, which could push the national average to $3.50 a gallon.
I'm pretty concerned about that. I mean, I have my car here, but I'd probably be driving it a lot less, especially since we live in New York and it's easy to get around everywhere.
I'm going to try probably to ride a motorcycle, try to save some money in gas, and see what happens in the next couple months after this war in Iran.
But the long-term effects could take more time and hit far more than just the pump. Analysts say diesel prices used by trucks, farm equipment, and delivery vehicles could spike, and that can drive up shipping costs for everything from packages to groceries.
Unfortunately, the rise in energy also means that we could see a rise in food prices, not just because it takes a lot to get food to the stores, but a lot of fertilizer moves through the Gulf. It comes from the Middle East, and so So that could put a lot of pressure on food prices at a time when Americans are saying, hey, we are still struggling.
For now, people we talk to here in Jackson Heights, Queens say they're watching the signs and bracing for what comes next.
I mean, if this is the price that we get for just ingredients, I'm imagining for produce, like just milk or like peppers or anything. So I feel like if this is how much we're getting charged for just like simple things, I feel like it'll be a lot more expensive just to eat.
For drivers and for consumers, this is a global conflict that could soon show up in everyday prices. I'm Elijah Westbrook, CBS News, New York.
For the very latest on the war with Iran, head to our website, cbsnewyork.com, or download the CBS News app.